You know that feeling. You change your job, your city, your routine, and for a moment, it feels like progress. But underneath it, nothing changes. That same low, persistent hum. Lucius Annaeus Seneca had a word for what you're feeling, and he wrote, "The Cure." 2,000 years ago, a man wrote a letter because he could not live with his own mind. Nothing was wrong with his life. Everything was wrong with how he felt inside it. He described a mind that couldn't settle, drawn to ambition one day, disgusted by it the next. Sound like anyone you know? His name was Serenus, and Seneca's reply changed everything. Seneca's reply became one of the most penetrating works of psychology ever written, De Tranquilitate Animi, on tranquility of mind. And at its center, a single concept most people have never heard of: Euthymia. Serenus had one question: how do I stop being at war with myself? Seneca's answers: what you are longing for is great and supreme and nearly divine, not to be shaken. The Greeks called it Euthymia. Seneca called it tranquilitas. Here's the mistake most people make. They think this means happiness. It doesn't. This isn't happiness. It's something harder and better. Stability. We are seeking how the mind can follow a smooth and steady course well disposed to itself, remaining in a state of peace, with no ups and downs. Not a destination, a way of moving. And here's why most people never find it. They're trying to solve the wrong problem. Seneca describes two types of people. See which one you recognize. The first keeps changing everything: jobs, cities, relationships, morning routines. Not because life demands it, but because they cannot sit with themselves. Here's the trap: it never works, because wherever they go, they arrive there too. And then there's the opposite type, the one who changes nothing, not because they're at peace, but because they're stuck, moving through life on inertia alone. Two completely different people, same disease. And the disease has a name: dissatisfaction with oneself. From that one root, everything else grows. Envy, retreat, the slow, quiet rot of self-disgust. Here it is, the hardest sentence in the whole essay. You cannot escape yourself by changing your circumstances. The restless person tries, endlessly. The hum never stops. So, what does Seneca actually prescribe? He starts with money. He doesn't argue against wealth. He argues against needing it. The ideal amount is that which neither falls within the range of poverty nor far exceeds it. Why? Because excess doesn't free you. It traps you. Think about the richest person you know. Are they free? Or are they guarding what they've built every single day? That fear is not a side effect of wealth. It is wealth, at a certain level. Seneca observed something that took him years to articulate. The people fortune never favored are more cheerful than the people fortune eventually left, because they never had to feel the loss. Then, unusually for a philosopher, he gives you a manifesto, not abstract principles, specific commitments, things to do. Increase your self-restraint. Curb luxury. Moderate ambition. Soften anger. Regard poverty without prejudice. Practice frugality. It isn't about what you acquire. It's about what you master, not your circumstances yourself. The appetite, the rage, the fear of having less, the need to appear more than you are. Seneca understood something most people spend a lifetime avoiding. The thing making you restless is not outside you. It never was. And he closes the manifesto with a line that has no exceptions. Excess, in any case, is reprehensible. Not just in money, in ambition, in anger, in the performance of a self you don't actually believe in.
Why have you?
The excess is the problem. The restraint, freely chosen, is the cure. But here's the question Seneca knew you'd ask. What about when the problem isn't your appetite for excess? What about when life simply breaks something? Here Seneca is at his most human. In any situation in life, you will find delights and pleasures if you are prepared to make light of your troubles and not let them distress you. Not pretending it's fine, choosing how you carry it. No condition is so bitter that a stable mind cannot find some consolation in it. Don't avoid the problem. Turn it in your hands until it softens. The same weight feels different depending on how you're standing. And then, this is the trap most people fall into. He warns against two equal and opposite mistakes. Obstinacy, clinging to the plan even when fortune has clearly blocked it. Fickleness, abandoning every plan the moment it becomes uncomfortable. Both destroy tranquility, in different directions, at the same speed. The goal is neither. Flexible firmness, rooted enough to stay, supple enough to move. A wise man, Seneca says, lives as though he were lent to himself, holding his body, his status, even his own life as something borrowed, to be returned without complaint whenever it is called back. That is not resignation. That is the deepest possible freedom. Seneca's next piece of advice is, laugh. The mind that never rests doesn't become stronger. It becomes brittle. The mind is like fertile farmland, he says. Force it into uninterrupted production and it exhausts itself. So, rest. Step back. Give it room. And then the line that shocks you most coming from a Stoic. It is the mark of a greater mind not to restrain laughter than not to restrain tears. Because laughter doesn't mean you don't care. It means you can see the absurdity, the striving, the performing, the accumulating, and you are not undone by it. He goes further. One of the greatest quiet drains on tranquility, he says, is pretense.
I can't
How full of
manage
pleasure
this.
is that
I see
honest,
it on your face.
naturally
What's wrong?
unadorned
It's all too
simplicity
much. I'm
that
here.
in no
We'll talk.
way hides
I can't
its
manage
disposition.
this.
Better to be underestimated as you truly are than admired as someone you are not. The mask is heavy. You've been wearing it so long you've forgotten it's there. No triumph, earned honesty. The stakes matter here. Seneca ends his letter with no promises, only a warning. None of these remedies is strong enough, he writes, unless the wavering mind is surrounded by attentive and unceasing care. He's saying, this is maintenance, not surgery. You don't fix this once. You tend to it every day for the rest of your life. Think of it this way. Not still water, steady water. Moving, with purpose, without being thrown. That is euthymia. Not the state in which nothing disturbs you. The state in which you are no longer at war with what does. Seneca's final answer isn't a technique, it's a direction. The mind must be recalled from external objects into itself. It must trust in itself, rejoice in itself, admire its own things. It must withdraw from the affairs of others and devote its attention to itself. It must not feel losses, and it must take a kindly view even of misfortune. Notice what this does not say. It does not say, ignore the world. It does not say, feel nothing. It says, the direction of your attention is the direction of your life. Most of us are pointing it outward. At what others have, at what we lack, at the version of ourselves we haven't become yet. Seneca is asking you simply, firmly, to turn it around. Not a better life, a steadier mind. The noise never leaves the world. Only your dependence on it does. The mind must be recalled from external objects into itself. It must trust in itself, rejoice in itself. Tranquility is not the absence of disturbance. It is the decision to stop being destroyed by it. You will not find it by changing your circumstances, your city, or your ambitions.
Destroyed by the noise.
You find it
The
by
star is
mastering
present.
yourself,
The
your
violet.
appetites, your anger, your need for more. The noise never leaves the world. Only your dependence on it does.